Hello everyone, again. Okay, so our activity for today is making a paper helicopter. So all you need is copy paper and scissors. Now, for the sake of this activity, I'm going to use construction paper. It's not going to work quite as good as copy paper, but I wanted you to be able to follow along with the directions because I'm going to refer to each paper by their color. So that's why I'm using construction paper. But if you use white copy paper, you can always color them after you cut them, or make a little red, a green, and a yellow squiggle mark if it makes it easier to follow directions. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut all 3 sheets of my paper at the same time, and I'm going to cut them about 1 inch wide, the length of the paper. So it should be about 11 and a half inches. So I'm just going to eyeball it. And I'm going to cut down. If you want, you can measure them so that you have papers that are exactly the same size. And just so that I can try and make sure that I can show you how this works, hopefully I can. If not, it'll be a nice surprise for you. I'm going to actually cut my papers down a little bit. So you have 3 pieces of paper about 1 inch wide and all the same length. So the next thing you're going to do is take each one of your papers and just fold it in half lengthwise and then put a crease in it. So I'm going to do that for the red, the green, and the yellow. So we have them like that. Okay, the next part we're going to start kind of weaving these together. There's no tape or staples or glue, so we kind of just have to interlock them together to make our helicopter. So we're going to start out with the green. And I'm going to start it out with the opening facing me. And then I'm going to take the red and I'm going to wrap the red paper around the green paper. So the green will be inside the red. So just like this. So I could see the red on both sides. So just like that. The next thing we're going to do is take the yellow paper and wrap that with the opening now facing away from me around the red. So you could see the yellow is completely around the red, okay? The next part is a little trickier, but you kind of just have to stay with it and it'll come together. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna keep all the papers together how we have them so far, and we're gonna slide both ends of the yellow inside the green. So I'm gonna hold this open with my finger, try and keep them in still together, and I'm gonna try and slide the yellow through. So the yellow's completely through, both ends. So now it kind of looks like a triangle, but what we need to do next is kind of tighten them and push them closer together so they make that helicopter. So if you slowly keep pulling one at a time without them slipping off the ends, it will come together. You have to have a little bit of patience with this part. Now my ends are getting a little uneven, but that's okay. I'm going to slide them until they're really tight together. You might have to pull the ends a little bit here to make it nice and tight. So if you keep working, it'll come together. So once you have them as tight as they could go, I'm actually going to crease it a little bit and it will hold its shape a little bit better. I'm just going to push down, tighten this one a little, there we go, and kind of crease it. So now kind of looks like a corner of a box almost, but that way it's nice and tight. So really, that is all you're going to do, and this is your paper helicopter. So the next thing you can do is you need to drop it from somewhere high, so whether it's the top of your stairs, or if you go outside, or you have a deck or a patio or something like that, you can stand up on a chair carefully and drop it down, and it will start to spin in a circular motion like this until it lands. Now I'm going to try and drop it from above where I'm recording this from, but I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see it. I'm going to bring it way up here. So a little bit. You can kind of see when it landed, it was turning, it was spinning. I'm going to try it again. Maybe from here. So it just started to turn. So I would definitely need to drop it from definitely a higher height, but hopefully you get the idea. Now how this one works is there's two different forces working on the paper. So the first one is gravity. So gravity is what is going to bring this to the ground. It's what keeps us on the ground. We're not floating around like we're in an outer space. And the second one is air resistance. So resistance means to slow something down. So as gravity is pushing this down, the air resistance is trying to push up. So you have a force working from the top down and you have a force working from the bottom up. So they kind of work against each other a little bit and kind of balance it out. So when you do drop it from a high point, the two forces work together and then they allow it to fall. Gravity is a little bit stronger than the air resistance, but it will eventually fall down, but it will allow it to fall slowly. So it will start to spin, it'll catch that air, and it'll land on the ground somewhere. So you can use different types of paper, different lengths of paper. You can make ones with much longer, maybe wings if you want to call these, or shorter ones. And you can compare them and see which ones fly slower, faster, which ones catch some more air. So there is your paper helicopter, and I hope you enjoy.